Excellent, thank you. Thank you very much. Happy birthday again, Goldie, and thank you for the invitation to be here today. Thank you to FedScoop, and most importantly, thank you to the many, many customers that are here with us today that we've worked with over the past few decades. So thank you for that. It is indeed my first time up on this stage with you, and I look forward to spending just a few moments giving a little insight into something that we've discovered, both in the private sector and public sector, that we believe is insightful, but more importantly, is going to help accelerate the success of enterprises across the world, and certainly here within the federal government as you embark on what seems to be a persistent effort of modernization, of transformation. I just celebrated my 23rd year here at SAP, and started actually in our federal development organization, spent time in a lot of different roles around the world, and now I'm back home. And what's interesting is, in all of that time, there were always seemingly an inflection point. There was always a new technology introduction. There was always something disrupting the market, disrupting work, disrupting technology. And if we looked at the earlier slide, 200 years of disruption and innovation is something that we've all become accustomed to. What I would argue, though, is that right now, in the current moment, as a part of the modernization and disruption and transformation and the ability to actually digitize the work that we do and the missions that we serve, there is something different today than over the past few decades of all the other previous tech innovation. And that is that modernization is not exclusively limited to implementing new tech or figuring out how to keep pace with the current technology stack. That's important, and that has driven many of the last few decades of innovation cycles. What's different today is that in addition to that change of technology and application stack, there is a fundamental refactoring of an IT operating model. And that's not necessarily because it's a best practice, but it's the only way that the current technology innovation cycle will be able to optimize around outcomes and pace of change, and the ability to take cost and risk out of using technology and composing capability and innovation with the latest technology in a way that's not just at a lower cost, but balancing lower cost with more agility. It is possible to do more with less based on the current tech cycle that we're all experiencing today. When we looked across a global enterprise base, and one of the most insightful pieces of data that jumped out to me a year and a half ago is that of every enterprise customer, regardless of industry or geography, when we look at them, they were all in the same level, the same version of the enterprise application, regardless of what program that they went live on. 85% of customers running enterprise applications, whether they're on-premise or now in the cloud, are on the same versions they went live on. And the conundrum is that the accessibility and all the innovation we're talking about and hearing about and the enthusiasm and opportunity around AI is so highly dependent on being on most current version. Most current versions of capabilities provides new security capability, new API service interoperability, new collaborative services. And being on the latest cloud service architecture is more than just being on the latest version. It's actually requiring a change of the IT operating model. If IT organizations for decades have spent all their time making sure the tech's working and secure, that's time not left to innovate, extend, compose, and manage all of the capabilities required to serve tomorrow's mission, tomorrow's challenges, tomorrow's requirements. So what we've looked at is fundamentally changing the way that we approach transformations, modernizations, certainly making the technology itself supportive of the future, but helping IT organizations close the gap and IT practitioners and the day-to-day work necessary to be an innovator is going to change forever through the inclusion of both all the Gen AI capabilities being brought to the IT organizations and to enterprises, regardless of the line of business or the part of the enterprise or the part of the job. Gen AI is not just accelerating or improving, it's refactoring. It's refactoring work. It's refactoring how we design, develop, and deliver technology and software. It's changing how customers consume, getting away from implementations and thinking about it as activations, thinking about standardization versus differentiation, and understanding that there is a balance available now between reducing the total cost of ownership with a total cost of innovation. And that modern, or modernizing, or what I would argue the future IT operating models will look like, are organizations designed around the metrics of both reduced TCO and improved TCI. Take out cost and risk associated with making applications technology work and apply to the business process. At the same time, reducing the time it takes to identify a signal to innovate, a signal to actually meet a new requirement or challenge, be able to compose a capability to address that requirement and deploy it, activate it, consume it. That has to happen faster and faster and faster. And you can't do one and not the other. There has to be a careful balance between TCO reduction with TCI improvement. Well, that's not possible with IT operating models that have been built and run for years, decades, around on-premise estates, on-premise architectures. So as we look at the modernization of the application stack and the enterprise estate, and when we look at enterprises moving on-premise applications and differentiated services and different business and mission processes, moving that from the old tech to the new tech cannot be the end state. There has to be a realization that the IT operating model, the day-to-day work, and the metrics by which IT organizations measure their success and the proximity between IT effort and business and mission outcome, that has to consolidate. And that is what's new today. Not just what the software does, but how IT practitioners and business practitioners compose capability and innovation in conjunction with IT practitioners. So that's just a little bit of some insight. It's a little bit of a different point of view, and we did not expect to invest in areas 3-4 years ago that we're investing today. Because it's not enough just to talk about enterprise tech and the latest capabilities and how we're embedding AI service into our architecture, but we also have to make the tools, methodologies, and best practices to modernize accessible to customers to get on that path, to look at every single element of work today and make sure that customers do not modernize the tech stack while leaving behind an on-prem architecture that sub-optimizes their ability to perform, differentiate, and compete. And that's something that we're continuing to invest more and more in. So with that, I want to say thank you very much. Thank you again. Happy birthday. And I look forward to spending time with you. So thank you.